Alright, so just before I started recording this video, we saw a massive liquidation spike over here on Ethereum. Clearly a lot of longs were opened with that Ethereum ETF that was launched yesterday, and we have now flushed them out of the market. And this is actually very bullish in my opinion, because we grabbed all of the lows within this range into the imbalance, and instead of accepting within the low volume gap and continuing down, we saw a nice swing failure pattern, at least on the short term. Like I said, this just happens. We need some time to confirm this, but you can see on the 1 minute time frame, price has made a very clear swing failure with that big wick on these structures. You don't want to lose the golden pockets. Wherever price does come up to, we just want to make sure that we're not losing this golden pocket, but a retrace into it makes perfect sense. So we'll see if this can in fact hold, and we can have that continuation up on higher on Ethereum after this potential bullish swing failure pattern. You can see now all of this stuff has been cleaned out on the charts, and I'm assuming we have reset open interest with this move. So let's actually go ahead and check that. Over on Trading Light, let's pull up the Ethereum pair, and as we can see with this big wick down, we did see an open interest decrease, right? It's not quite as big as I would have thought. I would have thought open interest would have been reset a bit more, but I'm sure it shows it more on the smaller term time frames, right? And yeah, clearly on the 1 minute time frame, we have done a full reset of open interest here. All of the positions opened within the top side of this range have now been washed out of the market. This is a very bullish sign to see. I would expect that low to kind of be in now. We even saw some big sell walls scooping up price during this liquidation event. One buyer putting in 7,000 ETH, creating this failed auction here at the lows. We see, much more sellers at the bottom of this wick marketing in compared to the lack of buyers. And our footprint of price cannot accept a lower, clearly due to these buy walls that were in the order books. And of course, limit orders are more on the right side of the market, indicating this auction should not be really retested. And I would expect just on a first glance that that is the low for Ethereum. But of course, this just happened. Let's see if we can hold the golden pocket. This is certainly a trade I might potentially get in, this golden pocket retest. I'm actually going to put in an order right now for that. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to do 5.8 to 7.86 on this, right? We've talked about my setups a lot. This is kind of what I like to take on these swing failure patterns. We'll see if it does in fact play out. So cool, I got my order placed. Let's see if price does come back and grab this. So we'll see how this plays out while I'm recording the video. It's just a small position because I'm not staring at order flow right now. I'm not like super confident on the trade. We still need Bitcoin to sweep. And let's talk about that right now. So you can see if we go over here to the 30-minute time frame, I have this yellow dashed line. This is what I use to mark out sweep levels on the chart. There has been a lot of liquidity being built below all of these lows. I do expect price to come down and sweep it, similar to how it just swept Ethereum on the macro. So that's something I'm really going to be waiting for. But we did see some bullish stuff already in the charts, right? We have lower lows right here, higher lows on the CVD. We got some CVD bull divs coming in on multiple exchanges. This is also on Bybit over here on the right. You can see those CVD bull divs, but it's nothing super convincing, especially when we have our liquidity lower, and below that sweep level we also have big inefficiencies in the chart as well. And this comes right within our volume level, so that back test of the 64,500 into support, this is kind of what I would say is the most likely thing to kind of happen here on the chart, is to do a full back test of this 64,500 level. I guess it's actually 64,783 is where I have this volume from the macro range. So let's see, if we can get this kind of setup to play out. A swing failure of these lows with a wick down to volume, getting back above would be that confirmation that the low is in fact in. So this is kind of my first big area to watch. Is price going to hold right where it is? Are we going to sweep this and then come back up? That would be pretty bullish. Or is this potentially going to fail? And if this were to fail, is it going to be structurally bearish? Somewhat, potentially, maybe not. We do see in these uptrends for Bitcoin, we can see some pretty violent wicks, as we see sometimes in the uptrend for Bitcoin. We get these violent wicks to shake all the market participants out of the market, sweeping poor lows very quickly. This happens, within an hour time frame, and then we get all the way back above our supportive levels. So I would not be surprised to see something like that play out here on the charts, similar to how we just saw this play out on ETH. This is clearly something that broke structure, but because it is a wick, the structure is still held, right? We can easily come back up. We can reclaim these lows within the day, and then that would structurally look very bullish. It would just leave a wick to the downside, which could be a sign that it's going to get filled later on. but is more of just a sign that the longs have been flushed out of the market and there's no longer the need to take out those late longers. So if we did get this wick to the downside that happened very quickly and then got back above volume, this is what I'm looking for that liquidity hunt, right? These poor lows that we had been talking about for quite some time, a back test of the value area high, this green line that comes across here. So those are the big levels to the downside. I kind of expect something like this to play out. We'll see if it actually does. And once this corrective phase does end, once we potentially start heading back up the top side, which I do believe is going to happen, I don't think this is quite your macro top for Bitcoin. I think we're still going to go up on higher. Right, the base case remains all-time highs to grab this liquidity that we keep talking about here on the channel. But we're getting some volatility on the chart. Let's jump in here to the 5-minute time frame. We just got the sweep of the lows. Is this going to get back above and confirm the sweep structure, that swing failure pattern? To qualify for this, I'd like to see 30-minute candle closes above. We still got 27 minutes on that 30-minute candle. So let's see, what Bitcoin is going to do here. Right off the bat, we are seeing price swing up pretty nicely. And over here on Ethereum, let's see if we got the order filled here. We got the swing into the golden pocket. Let's check my exchange. Did I get filled on that long order? Yes, I did. I'm now in a long from this golden pocket. And guess what I'm going to do? I can go ahead and put my stop at entry right now. And I have no risk on the position because I just entered in Pico low on that wick. So let's go ahead and do that. So my stop is now at entry. I have no real risk on the position now. The only risk I have really doing this is that price were to come back within here, stop me out, and then continue on up. But if you do the probabilities over the course of time, getting that stop loss to entry immediately is always going to benefit you in the long run. So that's why I do what I do. Let's see how it does play out. We still got to look at Bitcoin here. Is this going to be a proper swing failure? And so far, so good. Look at that 5-minute wick to the downside, getting back above the lows. It's real cool. We're seeing price action here on the recording. Usually the charts aren't this exciting when I'm doing my videos, so this is pretty cool to see on the 30-minute time frame now. Look at that buying pressure pushing us back up above these wicks. And let's go ahead and look at the order flow. What is really happening here? You can see we front ran these single prints, right? So we didn't quite get into them like I thought was maybe possible. We didn't test that volume to the downside. But we have certainly reclaimed the level so far. Let's see if it's a failed auction or not. And as we can see, very nice failed auction. Look at the amount of Bitcoin being sold off at this level into these buy walls that are absorbing that price, showing that those market sellers within the footprint had failed at the auction at the level, and the price is truly bullish here and is likely not to retest the level. But of course, likely does not mean guaranteed. Anytime you're doing any sort of leverage trading, it's all just probabilities over the course of time. I'm not saying that this is a guarantee to low or anything like that. Price could easily just do a bearish back test of these lows, come back down, sweep the sweep, or potentially go down even further and actually become structurally bearish. And that's why stop losses are so important. Another thing I really like to see with this wick is that when we had it to the downside, we see open interest decreasing, which means it was longs closing out of the market, not shorts opening. So now we just want to watch our level, pull fibs once again, just like we did on ETH, and make sure we can hold this golden pocket. If Bitcoin were to come back within here, we should not be losing the golden pocket on a swing failure pattern. So we'll make sure to watch that. And since I just longed Ethereum, let's go back to the Ethereum chart and look at kind of the order flow. So we do see, look at that perfect wick down into my box that I was looking to enter my position in. You can see another very clean failed auction at the bottom of this wick into those fibs. But we do see open interest starting to come up now as price is coming down. So that shows that shorts are opening and shorts are technically on the right side of the market until structure does change on the local term time frames. So what we might want to do is go in here to the 1 minute. We do see lower highs, lower lows. Now what we want to see to show that shorts are on the wrong side of the market is for structure to change. Let's get a higher high on the 1 minute time frame. Let's get our higher lows to confirm on the 1 minute time frame. And once we have confirmation of this structure change, you're likely to go ahead and squeeze those shorts to the upside. Another thing we can look for, assuming that does happen, is our longs opening, showing that bullish continuation from buyers. And we are starting to get that. You can see the delta on our previous 1 minute candles have been more in the green than the red. CVD is going up, open interest is going up. Now we do see long starting to open. Again, the question is, are they going to be on the right side of the market though? If structure just continues to lower highs here, those longs are now going to get squeezed, and we're going to see price drop once again to close out those longers. So again, it's all just probabilities when it does come to trading. It's kind of, can you read the data and interpret what's going on in the market? Let's say I get stopped out of my position right now, but it actually swings back above, right? Like we were talking about, price could come in here, stop me out, and then continue bullishly back to the upside. If this were to happen, well, I'm just going to be watching order flow, right? Do we see the confluences I just said? If we start getting those higher lows, higher highs on the shorter term time frame, the shorts haven't closed out of the market yet, then I will be okay re-entering on, let's say, a back test of value area high, get a higher high here, back test value area high, or maybe just once trend has reversed, take the next golden pocket back test, something like that, right? There's a lot of different ways you can enter your positions. It doesn't have to be immediately after a swing failure pattern. This really is one of the more aggressive ways to enter positions and doesn't always work out the best sometimes. Sometimes it's best to just let structure form, and then you can take your position once structure goes in your favor, such as higher highs, higher lows for a long position. So we'll see how this plays out. I don't want to just continue to stare at the charts on the 1 minute time frame because that could go on for quite some time, and I need to get this video out to you guys. But so far, yeah, I really do like what I'm seeing with this swing failure pattern. I'm in a long for a reason, and that long setup was pretty pixel perfect. So really awesome we could see all of that and execute properly live here on the recording. And then now I want to finish off real quickly with the dollar and the S&P. So we do see the dollar has officially broken down from the level we wanted it to. This is huge for me, right? We definitely did not want to see this get flipped back into support. We can see it kind of wanted to, but it certainly failed back under, and we are now getting resistance back at the top side of this previous range. And let's see if this range can now fail and force us to hunt down to that 100 level. This is the scenario in which Bitcoin goes to all-time highs for sure, and it does look like that is in play right now with this deviation to the upside, accepting back within the range and now rejecting off of that range. This is something we talked about in yesterday's video, and it is playing out just how we wanted it to. But even with the dollar breaking down, the S&P has also broken down, right? So this is something we got to be cautious of. With this parabola we've had on the monthly time frame, this is actually better to show on the TVC markets. This massive parabola going all the way back to 1964. When you get these big wicks and these big red candles, you got to question, is the parabola finally over? Is this going to send us into the Great Depression 2.0? And we have no confirmation that it won't. So we got to be staying vigilant, right? But we do have some indications that a retrace back up is likely, such as these futures gaps that we do have in the market. So the fact that we are creating these shows that price is likely to come back up. And the question is this going to turn into a back test and failure, or can we actually accept and then continue on up, going for all-time highs once again? Of course, because Bitcoin is correlated with the stock market, we don't want the S&P to just rug pull right now and go to zero. Let's see if we can start getting this push back up to the upside. Over here on the S&P futures, we can see we are starting to find some support, and we do have another swing failure level that would be really bullish to get back above and reclaim. We have now taken out the liquidity from this entire range within here. So if we can reclaim this, get back above, that would be a very bullish indication as well, and it would absolutely show us that we have the potential to hunt all the way back up to all-time highs just after this liquidity flush, which is expected during parabolas. But that's going to be all for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed me taking a position here live. Let's go back to that position, and you can see price is now starting to go into my favor on the 1 minute time frame. We're starting to see these higher highs, higher lows within here. Let's see if this does in fact become the low on Ethereum, like I think it has the potential to do. And if you do want to learn more about leveraged trading, my strategy when it comes to it, be able to talk to me in calls to discuss trading and a whole bundle of information I'm putting together, then check out the link in the description down below. That is the Crypto Eagle VIP. That's my VIP Discord. Go ahead and click on that, read all of the bullet points, and you can decide for yourself if it's worth your money or not. Right now it's only $20 a month because I am doing a 50% off discount using code early, so make sure to use that code as well. And definitely just make sure to join the free Discord if you do have any questions about anything I talked about or just want to join the community for this channel. And below that stuff in the description down below, also running an event right now with BingX, which is my exchange partner, if you want to get some awesome rewards, deposit bonuses, that sort of thing. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.